众所周知，新加坡地铁禁止喝水。
From sipping water on Singapore's strict subways to mass harvesting cicadas in Tokyo's peaceful parks, a new wave of wolf warrior behavior is sparking global outrage. Why are Chinese tourists suddenly making headlines for all the wrong reasons across Southeast Asia and Japan? Whether it's high-stakes robberies in Singapore, fake bomb threats in Malaysia, or blatant disrespect for local customs, the tension is reaching a breaking point. Are these just isolated incidents? Or is something deeper breaking down in China's cultural image abroad? Today, we dive into the scandals, the arrests, and the viral backlash that's forcing countries to rethink their open-door policies. Welcome to China Uncovered. Everyone knows that drinking water is strictly banned on the Singapore subway. But today, I'm actually going to challenge that rule. Apparently, you can drink water on the Singapore subway. The MRT clearly forbids it. Yet, this Chinese man openly drank from a bottle right under a sign prohibiting food and drinks, which warned of a massive $500 fine. He even recorded the whole stunt just to brag. The footage triggered massive backlash and criticism from netizens. One user asked, "If it's banned, why even challenge it?" Another mocked, "Why not go to Tiananmen and protest with an 8,964 sign?" Someone else wrote, "I hope Singapore seriously rethinks visa-free entry for Chinese tourists. This behavior is totally unacceptable and creates social chaos." Another added, "Chinese travelers don't even care about ruining their reputation anymore. China's image was already trashed by the CCP and the Little Pinks. There is basically nothing left to destroy." On September 22nd, the subway company officially reported the case to the police. Chinese media reports that fewer tourists are visiting Thailand this year, while more are picking Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Singapore, and Malaysia. There is a surge in negative news about Chinese nationals in these countries, especially in Singapore and Malaysia. These nations are seen as pro-CCP and have visa-free deals with China. Singapore recently enacted a law stating that students and tourists can't just film videos everywhere. This has become a side hustle for some, but you can't just do it freely anymore. Someone joked, "What if I film anyway? What are you going to do?" Well, you can't catch me, so it's fine. Just like that guy who filmed himself drinking water despite the signs. He took a sip and claimed, "You can drink on the subway here. As long as you don't get caught, anything goes." But seriously, don't challenge the law in Singapore. If they say no drinking, then don't do it. Currently, authorities have launched an investigation into his actions. Whether he gets a fine or worse, there will be real consequences. It's already hit the news cycle. A Chinese blogger thinks this guy is trashing their reputation. Regarding the man who filmed this stunt, "I have zero respect for what he did. If you were unaware of a country's regulations and made a mistake, that could be excused. But if you know the law and still film yourself provoking those legal boundaries, I don't think that's a respectable thing to do. It shouldn't be publicized. If you aren't ready to go abroad, stay home." When you travel internationally, you don't just represent yourself, you represent all Chinese people living overseas. Recently, something bizarre yet serious occurred in Singapore. Over 10 Chinese men flew in groups specifically to commit robberies. So far, they have stolen nearly 3.85 million Singapore dollars, targeting wealthy homes in high-end apartments. 3 of them were arrested and could face up to 10 years in prison plus heavy fines. A Chinese resident in Singapore shared their frustration. "As someone living here for years, I feel completely helpless and speechless." Additionally, 5 Chinese men committed crimes this year just to extend their stay. The Singapore Corruption Investigation Bureau revealed they allegedly tried bribing officers for special permits during investigations. This allowed them to stay longer for illegal activities like selling aphrodisiacs while on bail. They even paid guarantors to assist with their release. The mastermind was a Singaporean who has since been detained. Chinese tourists in Malaysia are also caught in scandals, from cutting lines to fighting locals and attacking immigration officers. Recently, a couple even made a fake bomb threat just to get their flight canceled. I finally get why some foreigners are prejudiced against us when people do such shameful things. How could they not be? This is the 3rd time this month I've seen line cutting. And guess what? Every single one of them was Chinese, mostly older folks. There is no language barrier or confusion about local traffic signs here. The queue is clearly marked, but whenever the doors are still closed, they just find a shady spot to wait. Once the doors open, they rush the entrance immediately. They simply don't care about the line. No problem, just queue up. Who says you can't have 2 lines? I'm moving forward in the second row. A Chinese blogger in Malaysia noted that many elderly Chinese are there to help their working children with childcare. These seniors might have had very difficult lives when they were younger, and to survive back then, they had to be aggressive. Even now, they can't change their habits. But if you can't adapt, then don't go abroad and embarrass everyone. Stay in China if it's better there. A Chinese student in Malaysia also posted about the lack of manners. I'm going to say something that will probably get me hate, but Chinese students really need to work on their etiquette. Here is a simple example. I often see Chinese students asking for directions on the street or in the subway, and once they get their answer, they just walk away without a thank you. This happens all the time. I even see foreigners looking confused when the person who asked just leaves without saying a single word before walking off. This girl mentioned that people like this are everywhere around her. After they ask for help and just bolt, she feels so embarrassed that she has to follow up with a thank you herself to compensate. She truly feels it is a disgrace. Despite all this, some Chinese tourists still complain about Malaysia and Singapore. There are 2 Southeast Asian countries you should definitely avoid: Malaysia and Singapore. Don't visit Singapore. If you break a rule, you will face massive fines. Littering or spitting anywhere will cost you over 1,000 Singapore dollars. Even eating in public can cost $500. If you spray paint "I was here," you might face prison and even caning, not just a fine. If you can't follow rules, stay away from Singapore because your salary might not cover the penalties. Be careful. It's a country where people report you for everything. Honestly, the fines are nothing compared to being caned. That's a whole different nightmare. The famous Marina Bay Sands isn't impressive to me. I think the Crown Plaza in Suzhou looks much better. That one is a massive yacht with multi-story suites and a bow on top. Suzhou Industrial Park was actually a joint project between Singapore and China. The Suzhou Hotel costs 2,000 to 4,000 yen a night, but here it is over 10,000. What do you think of Marina Bay Sands? Singapore is so tiny. There is nothing special about it. Even a random hotel in Shanghai is superior. It's like those 6 or 8-star hotels in Dubai or Sanya. Don't the Dubai hotels totally outdo it? That's the thing. It is so expensive, and the city is too small. There isn't much room to build those kinds of resorts. Overall, Singapore's cost of living is 5 times higher than China. Its exchange rate isn't special. It is just small. It's clean only because it's tiny and easy to manage. Can you imagine managing a massive country like China? My biggest takeaway from Singapore is that I have no impression because it's packed with Chinese people. Everywhere you go, it's just Chinese. This is why people call it Chinatown online. Honestly, my English is poor, and I just spoke Chinese the whole time. It felt like I never even left China. There are many videos now criticizing Singapore. A Singaporean blogger noted, nowadays, if you talk bad about Singapore or Malaysia online, your views will skyrocket. It's like telling everyone that only China is the best. There's no point in traveling abroad. Singapore, Malaysia, and the US are all terrible. Only China is number 1. So I really don't get it. You guys complain about these places, yet everyone is still flocking abroad to visit? Isn't that a total contradiction? Additionally, a Chinese student shared a video trashing Malaysian food. Can you even eat this stuff? What is this blue rice? Everywhere you look, there is just burnt fried chicken. Guys, today we aren't looking at papers. I'm showing you around Malaysia's Wangi Newtown night market to see the food. Clean and hygienic, right? What is that black burnt stuff? They add coloring to drinks. This bread here, I don't even know what it is. The bread inside is just rice. It's not tasty, it's too salty and too sweet at once. It's like sweet potato fries or roots. Malaysia is full of these neon drinks. In China, we wouldn't drink them even for free. They don't even use gloves here. What kind of chicken rice is this? The rice is red and yellow, the fish is overfried. The rice tastes bad, and the chicken is just as poor. It must be a bread issue. The meat texture is terrible. The chicken here is totally overfried. These small sauces, just pour them in. It's pure green. How is this even made? This is Malaysia's local chicken, but the quality is very poor. Every part of it is bad. Especially bad. It's just not as flavorful as what we have in China. In response, a Malaysian blogger explained that their chickens are raised on natural feed without hormone injections. That's why the texture doesn't match the tender meat in China, where chickens are bred to be soft in just 30 days. Malaysian chickens are raised longer before slaughter and contain no additives or tenderizers. So, Chinese visitors used to processed food might find it hard to adjust. The blogger jokingly noted that Malaysian drinks use natural ingredients. That blue drink comes from butterfly pea flowers. The green is from pandan leaves and the yellow from soybeans. These are all natural. Unlike in China, where drinks use artificial dyes that can stain your tongue. The blogger continued, as for the colored rice, yellow is made with turmeric, and blue rice uses butterfly pea juice. These are traditional Malaysian styles. Unlike China, where they have modern food like Sudan red eggs, melamine milk powder, or contraceptive yellow eels. Chinese people complain that Malaysian vendors don't wear gloves. But in China, many takeout places cook while smoking, step on meat, and use recycled gutter oil. Why do they suddenly care about hygiene when they get to Malaysia? The blogger then noted that Chinese people often make headlines in Japan for all the wrong reasons. When they commit crimes in Japan, they often try to pretend they are Taiwanese. Recently, 2 Chinese individuals were arrested by Japanese police for using fake Taiwanese driver's licenses. These 2 nationals, Gato, 38, and Gongaping, 47, are accused of submitting false online applications to get a Japanese permit. Converting a Chinese license is hard, but a Taiwanese license can be used immediately with a certified translation. It's reported the 2 bought the counterfeits for 160,000 yen, about $1,000, from a Chinese website. Police also plan to arrest a 37-year-old Chinese citizen who allegedly instructed them. Chinese people are in the Japanese news again, this time for catching massive quantities of cicadas in local parks. There are so many they almost wiped them out. For Japanese people, cicadas are the sound of summer and a vital part of childhood memories. He continued, once I asked a Chinese person in a park why they were catching so many. He had several 1.5L bottles filled with cicadas. I asked, won't they rot? The person replied, it's fine. Just freeze them and eat them in winter. Chinese tourist behavior during food sampling in Japan can also be quite annoying. A video shows a Chinese man in a Japanese fruit shop sampling grapes. After eating one and liking it, he wanted another, but kept using the same toothpick. Staff asked him multiple times to use a fresh one, but he insisted on using the old one. Eventually, the staff had to cover the fruit in plastic wrap. They tried explaining that reusing one could contaminate the entire batch. However, he just opened the wrap and poked 2 more grapes, looking like he did it on purpose. One person commented, maybe these people act like this in China, just grabbing food shamelessly. Don't hold it with your hand. There is a knife right there. Meanwhile, Mr. Lee, who lives in Malaysia, said, China has a 5,000-year-old civilization and was once a model for the world to follow. During the Republic of China era, customs were proper and traditions were preserved. But when the CCP took power 70 years ago, they destroyed Chinese morals with atheism. They then instilled extreme nationalism and promoted self-interest and aggression, turning Chinese people into wolf warriors. This makes them a complete embarrassment when they travel abroad.